to 52 Launch Podcast. I'm Peter Drankovich.
Dan Gagne.
And as always, you guys are fantastic. Today we have the wonderful Julie Simon on with us to help us discuss why and when a PR agency is important. Now, Julie owns Orca PR Communications. Did I get that right?
Senior VP. I don't want to take too much credit. We were founded almost 20 years ago by Julia Hutton, actually, similar name.
Cool. Well, so we have just found a tremendous value in you guys, and I know one of our clients, or a couple of our clients, actually found you, and we have a few of our own products with you guys, plus a bunch of our clients now. Which is
very important, Pete, because we wouldn't suggest somebody that we haven't tried ourselves, and
right.
We absolutely think the world of these guys, and that's why we want to share it with all you folks.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Mutual love fest. Whenever I'm feeling down, I'm going to come on. I'm going to ask you if we can do a podcast interview.
Anytime.
We feel the same. It's very reciprocal. We count our lucky stars that we were introduced to you as well.
So before we get into questions, I usually like to kind of give you a couple of minutes just to explain what it is that you do, where are you located, and just give us a little background.
Sure. So Orca Communications PR is technically headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona, but as we were just talking about, Snowmageddon 21 last week, I'm actually based in Austin, Texas, and we have people all over the country. Probably the highest concentration of our publicist team is still in Phoenix, but we always say, we go where the best people are. So the media, a lot of us come from former media backgrounds, and you know people who know people, people who you work with in the past who would be totally awesome, and you want to bring them along for the ride. But we are a PR agency. Our bread and butter really is earned media. And people say, well, what's earned media? It's media you don't pay for. You earn it the hard way. You work hard for it. You woo over a member of the media with just the innovativeness and the uniqueness and the coolness of your product or service. You're not paying the media to say how great it is. So that is what we do. Funny enough, a lot of our employees, most of them actually come right out of media backgrounds. I was a TV reporter for over a decade. We have former producers, we have former writers, people come from all different cross sections of the press, because our tagline is that we threw away more press releases than we read when we were on the other side of it. So we have a pretty unique kind of approach in that we're very anti-press release at Orca, which throws a lot of people off. Like, what? How can you be anti-press release and be a PR agency? So we're very pro-pitch. Pitches are shorter, more casual, more conversational versions of a press release, but they're constantly changing depending on the demographic of the media that you're pitching. We really find that the whole press release style is totally vanilla, totally blah, totally outdated, and does not get clients the results that they want. But I think we've talked about this, gentlemen, like, we're scrappy. We are not your uber fancy New York or LA PR firm, nor do we want to be. We are pound the pavement, get her done, bring entrepreneurs to the dance. That's kind of our mantra.
Right. And you've built your business on helping small companies. That's your model, not necessarily working with Reebok or Nike. You want to work with a small entrepreneur.
Yeah, so absolutely. If you look at our tagline, it's America's PR firm for inventors and entrepreneurs. We take a lot of pride in that. We take that to heart. We understand the investment it is for these small companies. And it's not to say that we haven't had Fortune 500 companies on our roster. We have, through referrals, typically. People, it's just funny, people talk. But our passion is really helping the little guy get national press attention that then obviously you hope catapults them into the stratosphere, of the next level when they're ready for the next level. But we love those success stories. We had a day job and we worked this at our dining room table till 3 a.m.
Right. It's infectious.
And guess what? We quit our day job and we just got national distribution into X, Y, and Z. Like, that gives us the shivers.
Yeah, that's kind of like our tagline. We build people's dream jobs while they work their day jobs. So
I love that.
Very interesting.
I love that. I thought it was from napkin to reality.
Yeah, we have so many taglines.
But look, I think you hit like the few key points there, right? If you're going to be an entrepreneur or do this, you have to be scrappy. You have to be resilient. You have to be patient. You have to sometimes work a day job or other jobs and put together that process. But yeah, we have the same feeling. Like, we don't take anything for granted that when someone comes in and hires us, we know the sacrifice they're putting on the table, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, feel that they can get to, you can do a lot of these things for free, but you can't do it as well as they're expected at this point to launch a product and market. And so, again, I will warn anybody that is hiring you, the expectation or the understanding of how you guys work, the amount of opportunities you've given our clients and as well as our own products. There's a lot of samples being sent out, and we're always getting good stuff in return. But we had to put a process in place to make sure that we're keeping up with you guys. So,
yep. So one of the
I
questions.
love hearing that.
Well, one of the questions that's always asked when we mention any type of PR firm, and obviously we're mentioning you guys a lot, why does someone need one? And the second part of that question is, at what point is the best time for someone to engage in a PR firm?
Right. So the first part of your question, I would just say, because we do get that sometimes, like, oh, I think I'm too small.
Right.
When I'm bigger, I think that's when I'll be ready. And then my question always is, but how are you going to get bigger? It's the chicken or the egg. How are you going to get bigger if people don't know about you?
Right.
I'm always fascinated when people spend so much time on the idea and the prototype and the website and scoping out the competition and getting all the wording perfect and the packaging. And then there's no real plan for letting the masses know that they exist. Obviously we are not curing cancer at Orca Communications, but it's the same thing. Like, if you had the cure, wouldn't you want everybody to know about it?
Right.
And so it's like, you spend so much time getting this product ready to go. And then what's phase two?
Right.
What's phase two? So you need it because it just, it lets people know about you. It's just an important step in brand building. People cannot buy you if they do not know you exist. Certainly. The second thing is, even when people know you exist, though, it can be a crowded sphere. And so how do you set yourself apart, and how do you get that credibility? Well, if you can say, as seen on the Today Show, or you can say, as seen in Real Simple, or this really influential influencer blogger says we're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you leverage that, you put it on your social channels, and when you go to the homepage on your webpage, there's a sliding scroll of recognizable logos of media who's endorsed you.
So important.
That has subliminal weight on the average consumer. Certainly it does.
Right.
So there's that clearly. And then as far as, when's the best time, it's funny. We have people across the gamut. We have people who don't even have a product for sale yet. They just have a prototype,
right,
and they want buzz around their product so that when it is available for purchase, there's already that brand name recognition. That can be a little challenging sometimes on our end, because samples. You mentioned it before. You want to get your product into the hands of members of the media, editors, reporters, producers, writers, bloggers, to try it. Because if you believe in it that much, it'll win that person over once they try it out and feel it out and test it out and see it with their own eyes. So I would say for our purposes, we certainly do PR before there are samples available, much like a Hollywood movie starts advertising weeks and months before opening day. That case can be made. I personally do love when there's samples available, because that means that we can offer it up to influential members of the media.
Yeah.
So, but when people say I'm not big enough yet, it's just my husband and me, or it's just my college roommate and me, I still have a day job, I say, you get one chance to be brand new. You get one chance to be introduced as brand new to a member of the media, and you don't want to squander it by any means. And, I do think that people sometimes are insecure about where they're at. Well, I don't really have offices yet. And I say, oh, your basement? You mean your world headquarters?
Right.
That's what they are. According to us now, that's your world headquarters. And then the other thing I would just mention is having a PR firm also does make you look and feel a little bigger than you might be. And perception is reality. You know what I mean? So
especially today.
Yeah, exactly. But my thing is, if you are emailing members of the media, try out my product. My product's great. I spent the last 2 years of my life getting my product. Sometimes that's a little bit of a red flag to a member of the media. Is this a fly-by-night company? Are you going to be here today, gone tomorrow? Versus we have those established relationships. Let us introduce you. Let us say that we're working with a fabulous new product and you've got to try it out, rather than you trying to find the right people to be in touch with because you think this is your meal ticket.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it is a good point.
Look, I just want to go back on two things and stress again. So, again,
we're thinking the same thing.
I agree with you on the samples. I think a lot of our clients, they want to do this pre-campaign. They don't understand that the pre-campaign, look, anybody can pick up a phone. Anybody can send an email. It's the relations, it's the connections that give you that better value. But on the same note, even if you did it the DIY process, I didn't hire a PR firm, the first question they're going to ask is, well, send me a sample. So really, like the pre-launch really is when you have inventory here, and then you have a game plan on who you're going to connect to, who you're going to contact. And for me, I think the three most important things are definitely you have to understand as the entrepreneur the things that you can do yourself. And if you think that anybody can be, the dialing for dollars person, or someone who calls, picks up the phone, and just gets you into, tries to introduce the retail sales, or finding that person that already has the retail connections, that's key. Second one for me is online marketing. You've got to put the right team to, spend some marketing dollars, because you're right. There is nobody coming to a website just because a product is now available does not mean anybody knows about it. Right. And then definitely in that top three mix is PR. You need someone who can get you those logos, those interactions, the as seen ons, like you said, the Today Show. I mean, those are. I love what you said. The earned media to me is exactly
right.
how I'd look at it.
And I will say that if a company can afford it, and I'll get into a little bit how Orca is different, how we've been able to bring smaller budgets into national media pitching, how we're able to kind of do that and still be viable as a company. But the thing is that I do get a little nervous when someone says, Julie, you and Orca, that you are our marketing strategy. We are putting all of our eggs into this PR basket. And I'm like, okay, it's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. And it's not that we haven't done it. And we all know the story, the elf on a shelf stories, or people who got on Oprah's Favorite Things, and really that set them up, to become multi-million-dollar successful companies. But my favorite is what you said, when people have a multifaceted, multi-pronged approach to their marketing strategy. So they're doing a little bit of Facebook, advertising, and they're doing a little bit of paid influencer, because there are certainly, many influencers who are making their living off doing it that way. Let us be like let us be a good sized portion of your pie. But I feel better when we're not the whole pie, meaning that, let's say, oh, I saw that in my Facebook feed. Oh, and now I'm watching, my favorite lifestyle show, and now I'm seeing the product again. And oh, let's say it's a healthy food product, and oh, now I'm in Whole Foods and I see it on the shelf. It's like, okay, it's all working. You're getting saturated from multiple angles. Well, that to me works the best.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that's really where you go from being an entrepreneur, like you said. It's amazing how many entrepreneurs, inventors, to put that whole passion into getting a product to ready to be sold, and then it's crickets, right? And the reality is, well, I think to me, and again, just in 5 years of doing this now as 52 Launch, it's that transition that when you get the product on the table, this is when now you have to become and learn how to become the business person. It's organizing that complete strategy or that campaign or listening to the people. But yeah, there is no one button that you can press that instantly makes you a brand overnight. And again, I just remember, I think it was Cook from Apple that said, we no longer build brands. The audience builds the brands about us.
Yeah.
And so, that's really, without being out there, you have no brand.
Absolutely. And interestingly, if we're quoting big time CEOs, I believe it was Bill Gates who said, if I had $2 left, I would spend $1 on PR.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's just always really struck me, because if he sees the value of that, and Microsoft is Microsoft, everybody knows Microsoft, but he still believes in reinvesting in that kind of constant education campaign about a product. Thought that was really telling.
Yeah, I think what you just said there is actually perfect. It's spending the money in some sort of marketing, whether it's PR. But so let's go, and I have a question. I'm sure you've got a couple more, but I think you said it, the PR, I think to most people stood for, like, you sending out a publicity report or whatever we call it, and you faxing it like
Press
in the old days.
release.
Press
Yeah.
release, yeah. That's not what we're hiring you for to do, right? Like your
No.
press releases are passe, and they
Very passe, very old school, as they say, and they just don't work. And I don't want to knock them completely. Some of our clients still ask us to do them if they have a really big key announcement,
Right, yeah.
a really huge new version coming out, or a big management change for some of those larger companies. They want it out there. They want it on the wire. They want it to live in perpetuity. And okay, that's fine, just as long as we're all on the same page. That's not what's going to net the most meaningful media coverage. That's kind of it's a different beast. No, like I said, we are pro pitch. Pitch, like I said, it's short. People have no attention spans to read 1 to 2 page single space press releases anymore. I mean, think how you feel. We all get them every once in a while, where someone emails you and it's like, oh my, your eyes roll to the back of your head. And you're like, oh my, oh gosh.
He'll tell you what happens with those with me.
Yeah, exactly. Delete.
Hey, did you read that? No, it's too long.
Yeah, yeah. But think how much more so than members of the media are just not even going to read it. So pitches are creative. They are seasonal. They focus on seasonality and holidays coming up and new trends that we're seeing. We're constantly, as a staff, brainstorming about pitch, hooks, and angles. And a hook or an angle is kind of like, okay, what's the headline here? Top staycation must-haves to maintain your sanity this spring break, or something like, something really kind of specific that a member of the media, a producer, could just plug it in and just run with it, and it's a segment or a spread ready to go. You see on your homepage, whatever it is, slideshows.
To me, that is no different than having the perfect keyword at the top. So, and then Google has those 96 characters, right? If people get it in that first 96 characters, if your producer got the entire, he can or she can understand how to produce an entire segment based on that caption and that title, then that's really that works for everything. That's your packaging, that's your website, that's the whole key to this whole game. And
exactly. You get one. It's like when I used to be a TV reporter, and I remember just being told that news directors, when they're going through resume tapes, like they give you 8 seconds. Yeah. You labor over making your 7-minute resume tape perfect, like 7 seconds, and they're done. Okay, got what I needed. Yeah. I know if she's going to work or she's not going to work. And it's kind of the same thing with a member of the media. Like, you got to hook them. And then a lot of it too are those relationships. Sometimes it's not even crazy enough on the merit of the product, even though it should be. It's a relationship we have with somebody where you say, oh, hey, Diana, we are repping an awesome new product that, collects hair so it doesn't go down your drain and clog up your drains. You got to, can I send you the website? Oh, sure. Love to see, boom, we've got a conversation going now, right. Versus emailing or calling into oblivion. So that is, I think, really just a totally different approach. We also have kind of, probably shouldn't say it, but cornered the market on this whole idea of bundling things. We got the idea years ago when we were pitching a really high-end diaper bag to an editor at like Pregnancy and Newborn, and the editor said, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. When I'll set this aside, when we do like a must-have gifts to wow at a baby shower this spring, we'll include it. And we were like, wait a second, we have other things that we can round out that whole spread for you. So that idea of including 3 to 4 to 5 non-competitive but complementary products, it really enhances your chances for coverage. And
you've already done that with us and a few of our clients. I mean,
it just works. Yeah. It's just a really excellent formula that works. And then, moving along, what happens is we're able then to price our campaigns so reasonably when you're kind of sharing the time of a publicist team, because they are, when applicable, trying to group or bundle pitch you, which it's just a win-win for everyone. The publicist can be more effective with his or her time, and the media is more receptive because you've tied the segment or spread in a nice little bow for them, ready to go. And we were also getting feedback that oh my gosh, I'm just a small company, and all these PR firms, they want $5,000 or $6,000 a month just for PR, and I can't do that. And we're like, hey, we got you covered. Like
Yeah.
we have a much better approach.
I was going to ask the question, how can a small business afford? All this information has been wonderful today.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put you on the spot because I don't want you to share your pricing structure with your competition.
Oh, no.
But
Yeah, that's true.
if
You're
you
right. I should
if
think
you
about
want
that.
to, you're welcome to. But I will
Yeah.
say that we've done our due diligence as a company, and these guys are set up to help small businesses and extremely affordable, and they get the job done. So that to us is everything.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we really view it like we're in it together. I mean, we are a lean, mean machine. I always say, like, we're not the most expensive. We're probably not the cheapest, because sometimes what will happen is people want to use us, but then they'll say, well, my college roommate's cousin's brother-in-law does PR on the side, and he's going to do it for us for $500. And I'm like, okay, I'll hear you. Let's chat in 6 months.
Well, let me, before I forget, just tell us one more time so people don't forget. Where are all you guys? What's your background and where you're from? Because we do get that. I've got a cousin that'll do it for free, and like that cousin might have one connection at the convenience store down the street or something. Yeah. So you guys
Metro
come
West
from
Daily
an
News.
Extremely broad.
Yeah. Right. So we don't have any junior account executives at Orca. Like I told you, most people have been poached because we know, we worked with somebody in the press, and so I would say like I told you, the majority of our publicists, with the exception of just a couple, one or two, don't have previous media backgrounds because they're so amazing. We overlooked that requirement, but for the most part, it's people who had very successful careers in media, who just didn't want to miss every single holiday. When I was a TV reporter, it was like, you want Thanksgiving or Christmas? Because you can't have both, and maybe even none. But if you wanted a preference, which one do you want off? And that just it's exhausting after a while. And this is such an amazing way for people who have these great media contacts, have these great pitching talents, to keep their foot in that world, but still spend Thanksgiving with their families.
When you guys make a call to somebody, you're going to get a return call. And that's the important
most
thing.
of the time. Look, I don't ever want to oversell it. It's competitive out there, and the truth of the matter is that even if my best friend, if she works in the media, if she doesn't like the product or she's not interested, she's not gonna cover it just for me, unless I really beg hard. I mean, we are pretty choosy about who we bring on, not to be snobby about it. It's just, we have a pretty good sense of what the media is going to bite onto, and we want happy clients. We want referring clients. We don't want a situation where the media is not interested and we have to say, that's hard feedback to give, to somebody who's put their whole life into an invention. So, we are pretty choosy. It's funny though. I do have a story where my instinct was off a bit. It was a company that came to us, and they had a board game, and it involved like doggy do, and whoever gets the dog to poop first is the winner. And I was like, oh no, I'm just imagining editors like, this is gross. What are you pitching me? And we decided to give it a whirl. I mean, it was a while ago because it was like Letterman and Leno were still on, but I mean, we got them live with, Kelly and Regis or whatever the show was called at the time. And I was like, wow, okay. I called that one wrong. I guess everybody's really interested in a game where the dog doos.
So you're telling us you had shitty instincts.
But
hold on, I got one for that.
Exactly. So, but anyway, for the most part, we're pretty spot on about what the media is going to latch on to. But like I was saying, no junior account executives. We want to make payroll. We're happy. We're not trying to have anybody give us their life savings. I can't sleep at night if that was the case.
And that's definitely a business comment. Everybody's just trying to make payroll and deliver what we can and do a good job at it. But look, I can tell you that, for the entrepreneurs in this segment, and I think people listening, bringing a product to market, it's not about having your cousin's girlfriend's boyfriend or whatever it is down the road do something because they say they're in PR. This is a pretty specific task. Someone has to know the ins and outs and understand the PR. And I'm going to kind of end not end, but I'm gonna. The thing that you kind of really enlightened us or opened our eyes is when you said in your camp, someone said that, every day is a national something day, and so I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that in PR, and especially with product related PR, there's always a day that is just more valuable to a producer or a segment. And I'm just gonna let you speak to all the different days that matter.
Oh, Peter and Dan, there is a day for everything, and you couldn't possibly keep up with it. We have, basically like whiteboards going. We would say it's like the sausage factory analogy. You don't want to see the inside of it, but the end result is fine. I mean, repping a really lovely, healthy beef jerky line. Did you know there's a National Beef Jerky Day? I mean,
No.
we landed a ton of press for them around National Beef Jerky Day. I mean, there's an awareness month for everything. And, we laugh about it, but it works. Having that reporter mindset, that timely hook, it gets their attention.
Right.
Oh, great. Oh, I didn't realize it was that day. Okay, yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something around that. So that is also where you don't have time to be researching every single awareness day and month for every, there's National Bee Day, and we represent, a company out of Australia where you can, you cultivate your own beehive. I mean, did you know that? National Bee Day, BEE. So that's fun when it just works, because you've thought of something that other people haven't thought of. Like that's where our kind of competitive edge, I think, comes out.
Yeah, and that's experience, and that's where again, someone's relative 3 cousins down that does PR for $500 a month does not work for this. They might have an awesome, they might be awesome at what they do, but if you're bringing a product to market, we're glad we found you. And
and for the entrepreneurs that are listening, don't wait for your day, the entrepreneurial day. Every day is a work day for
every
an
day
entrepreneur.
And I would also say, nothing's more painful. I mean, a lot of these amazing products don't have competitors, but some do. And, I've had calls with clients who are so frustrated, who will tell me, I had this idea first. We had a product, but we didn't invest in marketing. And now somebody's been nipping at our coattails, and I just saw them on a national media spot. And now everybody thinks that they invented, this.
It's funny how that story is so relative in the
entrepreneurial
world. We get that at a different level where I saw that, someone had that idea, and look I'm going to tell you, you can't complain that spilt milk if you don't execute on your own idea, right?
Yeah.
That is executing on getting it to develop, getting it made, getting it marketed, and getting it, sold. And if, you can't complain if someone else did all that work, because that's really 99% of the job.
Yeah, that's why they call the idea 1% and the execution 99%.
Yeah.
So true.
So,
It's
good.
So true.
This has been awesome.
Yeah, that's been an awesome podcast.
I loved it.
I appreciate your time. You've been extremely helpful, and I'm sure this is going to be viewed a lot because you just gave us a lot of information, and it's I think everybody can tell it is not from a script. This is from experience and from the heart and from doing it.
No, I have no notes, 0 notes that I'm going off of. And we're honestly, we love, it's just, we want to be on that ladder up. We love doing that. We love success stories. We love, like I said, when somebody quits their day job. We love when somebody gets national distribution in a big box retailer that was their dream. We love, even, it's funny, we had one client and very successful. And then we got them in Real Simple, and he said, my mom finally thinks I'm a real company because now I'm in Real Simple. It wasn't, whatever the X number of dollars I've done in business the last 3 years. It's that you guys got me in Real Simple.
Yeah, exactly. When someone sees you on TV or in the aisle, you're real.
Yeah.
So we get that.
You're legit. If anybody has any questions at all, always here to answer and just give it to you straight. Whatever we can help with, we're here for.
Well, as we do this more and more, we're probably going to have you on as a featured guest because you're awesome to interview.
I'm going to be invited back?
Oh, yeah. This was great.
Yay.
This was great. So, anyway,
I think she's got to be our only TV reporter.
Yeah.
Thus far. we haven't had a celebrity yet, so you're in that box.
Your standards are low.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, guys. It was wonderful to see you.
Again,
take
we
care.
hope our audience out there appreciates the information. And if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.